he was an evil dude. And that's what happens when you're evil. You die, you come back from the dead, and you do evil things to people. Isn't that how it works, Ben? Hello.
Hey, we're back, and we are just kind of workshopping the interior of the Tower of Death.
Yeah.
So we don't really know what... Brian has an idea, but we're going to write it, and we're just basically pre-gaming the next episode, but we thought maybe it'd be interesting...
This is like a mini episode, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thought it would be kind of maybe interesting for you to see how we build, how we would go about building the interior of this dungeon. Mm-hmm. And then once we have it all kind of done, we'll do a whole big thing next week. But yeah, so you were describing...
Yeah, I was thinking about, so I'm going to do a little map of the island and where the staircase is and how you go up, and then the basic areas of the tower and the other little mini thing that's across the stone bridge that's collapsed. And then 4 separate, because we figured it's probably going to be 4 levels of tower map, which will be the same, except there might be some internal things of maybe there's a throne room type thing, maybe there's a casting room, maybe there's a bunch of broken furniture, maybe it's caved in, because the tower has been caved in some areas. So we will draw those up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what are you thinking for the 4 floors?
The 4 floors?
I think 4 floors, and then like the chamber of where the demi-lich is.
Well, that would be the 4th.
That's the 4th?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
4 levels altogether. I don't know what Bruce Lee's Tower of Death had. I have to rewatch that movie. So, a good excuse to watch that over.
Yeah, no kidding.
And so you're going to be fighting Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at the top.
I was waiting. I was planning. I was rotating that joke.
All the millennials don't even know what I'm talking about. Who's Bruce Lee and who's Kareem who?
I think I'm technically a millennial. I think I count.
Oh, Ben, don't say that. You're fired. So
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you get dunked on on the 4th floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely, each floor would have maybe an encounter, maybe a battle.
Each floor will have an encounter or a puzzle or both.
Yeah, an obstacle, a trap,
And basically it's going to be a tower, so it's going to be a circular room. And instead of the staircase on the inside, it's going to be on the outside. So you go up on the outside to each level until you get up to the top.
Oh, so the door goes out, around, in,
Yeah.
out the other side, around.
So you go up, and then you come through the floor of the next level. And
cool.
And it's all stone.
Wouldn't it be cool if you got attacked while you were on the staircase on the outside?
I was thinking that very thing. Yep, because you could fall off on the floor and hurt yourself.
Yes. Mm-hmm. We had I was doing an adventure like that one time where we were going up a staircase on the outside of a tower, and
no, it's on the inside of the tower, but it's not in the middle. It's along the wall.
Oh, along the interior.
Yeah, and then you just come up through the floor of each one.
Got it.
It just goes around and around. Yeah.
So there's an interesting historical thing about this, where you can the medieval castles, the staircase is always going down.
Yeah. So that you
clockwise.
can use your right hand.
So that you can fight with your right hand and hold on to the wall with your left.
And you use your shield.
Yeah, and then you make the guys attacking you fight with their left because they can't, because they're gonna not be.
Or they have to go sideways or something, and they can't use that shield.
Yeah, I went to a castle one time in England, and they were like, "This guy was left-handed. The Lord was left-handed, so he reversed it."
Oh wow! I never heard of that.
Yeah, it was like one of the only ones in the world or something that was like that. But yeah, so it's gonna go that way. Yeah, so you were saying in the last one that that each floor is going to be kind of a different type of different theme.
Yeah, different theme. Whether it has creatures and traps or puzzles or both, we don't know yet. But it'll be a progression. Same thing as Bruce Lee's Last Game of Death, where each level's a little tougher until, of course, the demi-lich at the top is going to be pretty hardcore guy.
Yeah, he's going to get his own episode.
And it will be pretty much undead type stuff, although we don't know exactly what yet.
Yeah,
Skeletons and zombies definitely at the lower levels and along the staircase as you go up and around. You'll have random encounters. And you'd be like, this isn't too tough.
And your priests.
Until all of a sudden you knock on that front door. So it's going to be...
Cleric? Well, I burned all my spells on the zombies.
Exactly. That was my homage to Sam Kinison, by the way. So, yeah.
Yeah, so let's populate it now. Let's think about it.
Okay.
Because we're going to have to make this thing, right?
Yeah, definitely skeletons and zombies in armor
Yes.
along the staircase that goes up.
Yeah. And I like the idea of, because when you get the quest, they say that like other adventurers have gone to do this. So I like the idea of like,
It's other adventurers.
yeah, the skeletons
Yeah.
and stuff. Some of them are other adventurers. Maybe even on some of the traps you can see like, and that would be kind of a cool way to figure out some of the puzzles. Would be that like maybe the adventurers one of the party was starting to work it out on the wall, and like you can make it a little bit more complicated of a puzzle because you can see that like maybe with a piece of chalk, one of the other parties was starting to figure it out before they got attacked.
Sure,
they've
but
got
we
some
have to
notes on
figure
the
out
wall.
what that puzzle is.
Yeah, that's going to be a little.
That comes
tricky.
from good writers like you, Ben.
Yes, that comes from me sitting alone in my guest room, just pounding my head with a hammer. But that could be kind of cool with like some notes of the old adventuring parties. I'm gonna write that down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so we'll have like some cool traps.
Also, progression of undead monsters usually goes from zombies and to ghouls and ghasts, and then you go to wights and specters and stuff. That's pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
And then liches are definitely at the top.
Yeah. And these are all just
especially
kinda-
when you have these level draining guys like the ghouls and the ghasts.
Yeah.
Not the ghouls and ghasts, but the wights.
Yeah, they
and
drain.
specters and stuff. They will drain levels.
Yeah. And those guys are going to be like his old assistants. I like the idea of him being like a crazy old wizard who
Yeah.
kind of became a lich.
An evil, crazy old lizard.
Yeah, he just
Did
built
I
this.
say lizard? Wizard. Sorry. Yeah.
And yeah, he has this tower out here in the middle of nowhere, so nobody will bother him. But he's been doing like messed up experiments, and maybe some of the other stuff on the in the tower is like, leftover experiments and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And that could be part of the treasure and also part of puzzles and stuff too.
Yeah.
What does this thing over here mean? Is it just valuable or does it have a story or meaning behind it?
Yeah.
So, and as far as demi-liches go, demi-liches are just heads that are floating around like a little remote. And I got this idea because many years ago, this is a true story now. Many years ago, I went to the DC booth at Gen Con when I was a mere 24 years old, maybe. It was a long time ago. And I was a character from a comic book, and the name of the comic book was called Avatar. It was drawn by my buddy Damien. Hi, Damien. Hope you watch these shows. And I played a character in it, me and 3 other people. And I was Adon the Cleric. And we'd get dressed up in these suits of armor and costumes and stuff. And every Saturday morning, we go to a park or go to Damien's house and take pictures of us doing action stuff. And he'd draw us in the comic.
Oh, nice.
So we had these costumes. And so DC said, why don't you come out, sit at the booth, and sign autographs and sell the comic. And the guy drawing the Forgotten Realms comic at the time was a guy named Rags Morales, who was just the coolest dude. Hi, Rags. Hope you're watching these too. And one of the things in the comic books was a demi-lich, the head that floated around. And I still have all those Forgotten Realms comics still.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a good comic. I was sad when they went away. Let's put it that way. So I sat at this table for 4 days during Gen Con, and I watched Rags draw out one of the covers. And we just sat and talked and stuff, and I signed autographs for kids. So did he, too, because he was signing Forgotten Realms books there, too, because they had the license for that at the time. So, yeah, so that's where the Demi-Lich comes from. And
That sounds pretty awesome.
yeah, and then, I don't know, in the next video or the video after that, we're going to throw up the painting of the Demi-Lich, too, so you can see.
Yeah, Brian painted it already, but we don't want to
We don't want to show you
We're
everything at once.
we're gonna do that when we do the episode with all the stats and everything
Yeah.
in the Demi-Lich. Does its body hang around and fight also? That'd be kind of fun.
That might be fun. Or his body. I thought his body just turned to dust. And the only thing left is his head that
Okay.
floats around. But that's
That
just
works.
one idea. We can come up with other stuff too.
That works. Yeah, and so then, 4 floors, with the fourth being the throne area. We need like a little kind of a lab or a casting area.
Yeah.
What else would a wizard have in his lab or in his
There would
tower?
there would be some kind of library
Yeah, library.
and some kind of area of furniture or living space.
Yeah, he needs like a chambers.
And again, most of this stuff is probably turned to dust. I mean, this is very ancient, but it depends on how old we want to make it, how much magic is protecting the things that are in here too.
Yeah, but even like just repurposing them, just kind of having an idea of what was there would help build the dungeon a little cooler.
Yeah.
So living area.
Especially if there's boxes and chests with hidden traps or things inside them as well.
Yeah, because this guy was crazy, right? So he would have trapped stuff in his own house.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
And he probably had to deal with adventurers coming trying to kill him all the time, so he probably had to like be ready for that.
Maybe he had that too. Probably made a lot of enemies. See, when you're crazy and evil, you piss a lot of people off. It takes a lot of energy to be crazy and evil. That's why I try to be nice, Ben. Because I'm basically lazy. And being crazy and evil takes a lot of time and energy. So,
You always got to sit with your back to a wall so you
Yeah,
can see
that's
the
no
door.
fun.
You always got to know where the exits are.
you can't sit at the bar and talk to people, go, hey, how's it going? Because no one wants to talk to you because you're crazy and evil.
And as soon as you look away, somebody's
Yeah.
put poison in your drink.
Wait a second. Yeah. You can't go out and play when you're crazy and evil. You have to stay home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that works.
So,
Okay, so I like all this, like a casting area, an area where like he keeps like all of his weird arcane materials, like a storage kind of deal.
yeah.
Maybe an area where he was doing his experiments, kind of thing. I guess that would still be the lab. His main like throne area. Maybe like an area for the servants.
Yeah, could be that. There could be a servant level on every level.
Yeah,
You know, there could be monsters. I mean, again, there could be zombies and skeletons on every level, too.
sure.
Right? Because they're throughout the place. So,
I think they should be, because I like throwing a lot of little guys at the party because it just kind of keeps them on their toes, and also like, you know, you can throw 4 skeletons at the party, and the party in this scenario I think is going to be fairly a higher level, 3, 5.
probably, yeah, somewhere between 3 and 5 at least. Yeah.
Okay.
Or they're not going to make it back home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like, you know, you can have a bunch of skeletons beat on them, and like maybe they won't get a lot of hits, but if they get 1 or 2 hits and they chip away a little bit of health, then that's a successful encounter for you as the DM.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's just an onslaught, right? Like it makes party feel good because they're killing all these skeletons, but also, you know, the skeletons are
Keep
chipping.
them busy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
chipping-
they have to
chipping
keep
and
on their
chipping.
toes.
They're using their arrows, they're using their spells, they're using their
Yeah.
they're losing their hit points, they're using your cure potions.
And they're panicking a little bit.
Yeah. And that way at the end, you know, maybe if this Demi-Lich is something they could handle when they were all at full power, they're not going to be at full power when they run into him.
Yeah, they're going to be in a little bit of trouble. And that's you want to keep. You don't want to. I don't like character assassinator DMs.
Yeah.
I think that's a bad way of playing because it's not fun for anybody
Yeah.
unless you're a crazy evil DM.
Yeah.
See?
And then you don't have any friends. Like
Then
we
you don't
talked
have any
about.
buddies, yeah.
And then
You
nobody wants to
scare
play
them all
D&D
away,
with
yeah.
Nobody wants to play D&D
You're
with you
sitting
anymore.
home by yourself. That's no fun.
Building a bunch of your own characters and
Yeah.
then massacring them.
Who's never going to play?
But yeah, I think this is a good start. We've got like, you know, a few different kinds of cool areas we could do. We've got some cool different types of monsters. Any non-undead stuff in here? Probably not, huh?
Probably not. That's why I want to call it Tower of Death. And because there's no kitchen or food stuff there or anything like that. It's just a rock.
Yeah.
It is literally like Alcatraz after everyone's left and there's nothing.
Yeah.
It's just monster infested.
Yeah.
And it's all undead, creepy, yucky stuff because he was an evil dude. And that's what happens when you're evil. You die, you come back from the dead, and you do evil things to people. Isn't that how it works, Ben?
No, I think so.
I don't want to do that.
No. All right.
Okay.
Well, that works. So we got a good place to start, and then next week we'll be back with the final of the Tower of Death, and then some paintings and maybe a map.
Yeah, definitely a map.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.